The MCU is easily the biggest cinematic property out there. Each film rakes in hundreds of millions, if not billions, at the box office, and the superheroes are popping up in other genres of media as well. But video games seem to have missed most of the MCU action. Well, that was until Marvel's Spider-Man in 2018 that really kicked things off in style. And Square Enix also had an exclusive deal with Marvel to create some games. First of which was Marvel's Avengers. That was a baffling mix of live service garbage, single player story mode, and repetitive and lazy gameplay. But hot on the heels of that disaster is Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, developed by Eidos Montreal, the guys behind the brilliant Deus Ex Human Revolution games. And this one is a single player only adventure. But does it deliver? Let's find out. The story follows the Guardians as they try to make ends meet, just taking on random jobs to make a quick buck. But what they really want is that big score. But along the way they get caught up by Nova Corps and they have to try to pay off this really big fine, only for a bigger, more dangerous threat to arise, and it's up to the Guardians to save the day. Its story is pretty basic, but it's a lot of fun watching the Guardians getting in all sorts of scrapes, and it's brilliant. But what is really the creme de la creme here is all its characters. All 5 members of the Guardians get a chance in the spotlight to really see each and every one of them to get plenty of character development, especially Star-Lord himself. Peter Quill, as you find out, has a lot of backstory in this game, and it really shapes him into the person he is today. And it's just so darn good to find out all about this. There's plenty of quiet moments on the Milano where you can just explore and chat to each member, asking more about how they're doing and their backstory. It's really good to learn more about them. I only know the Guardians from the films, but I loved every moment of this, and I guess fans of the comics will too. There's certainly an element of Mass Effect here a bit, and this Mass Effect feeling certainly continues throughout the whole game. Onto the gameplay now, and Guardians is a third-person action game. It's a mix of 2 gameplay styles. You have your exploration that sees you exploring linear-like levels with a few forks in the road to find collectibles. In these sections you can search for collectibles, solve various puzzles that uses Star-Lord's various blaster upgrades as well. The puzzles themselves aren't hard, but a nice breakup of the gameplay, and during these sections you can listen to various character chatter that helps build the game's world and expand their characters just that little bit more. There's various sections of the levels where it breaks out into combat, and this sees you playing entirely as Star-Lord as you shoot enemies with your blasters and dodge out the way. It can be quite repetitive for some, and I totally get that, but honestly I really enjoyed it, and it does get quite hectic at times. The Mass Effect elements also merge into here, as you can order each member of the Guardians to attack enemies with their special attacks. So there's a little bit of strategy here, and with the various blaster upgrades that can be used in combat as well, it does help spice up the combat quite a bit. Another nice inclusion to the gameplay is that there's plenty of character choice here, as you can choose dialogue choices and also make certain decisions that can have effects on the game later on down the line. Don't get me wrong, it's nothing like The Witcher or a Telltale game, but it's nice to see it and can make a walkthrough easy or harder depending on how you tackle certain events. An example of this early on was that I helped out this character to be given a key to make for a latter part of the game quite easy, and it also allowed me to skip a puzzle entirely. Also, I caused a few bad decisions to make Rocket actually really hate Star-Lord during the game's opening hours. The tension was certainly high between them, but I really liked how that happened. Now, all this Mass Effect style choice stuff is great and all, but again, like I said before, it's ever so light and doesn't overall affect the story. It just makes certain parts easier or harder, but it's welcome, and there's plenty here for improvement and expansion for a potential sequel. It's above and beyond the single player campaign that was in Marvel's Avengers, and you can tell that the team took plenty care and attention to this world and characters, which I'm really happy about. Onto the length now, and Guardians is a decent length experience for a single player story mode. To complete the story and try to nab a decent amount of collectibles, you're talking a good 15 to 20 hours. Some chapters are pretty lengthy, whilst some are smaller, focusing more on character development. There's also around 100 odd collectibles to nab, some of them include outfits, and to nab all these collectibles you're talking a good 25 plus hours, so that's pretty good. Onto the presentation side of things, and Guardians is a cross-gen game, and it certainly shows that sometimes. Playing on the PS4 Pro, the game looks outstanding. Some wonderful environments and detailed character models. It's certainly a step up from Marvel's Avengers. It runs at 30 FPS on last gen systems, and you can tell it's kind of struggling, as I noticed quite a few frame rate drops in busy action scenes and cutscenes that feature reflections. They're pretty noticeable, but 95% of the time it's fine. There's also a few visual and technical glitches here, characters getting stuck in scenery, audio getting stuck in a loop, and a few little things, but nothing really that bad to be honest. Audio wise now, and like the movies, this is where the game really does shine. The voice acting is top tier, featuring plenty of great actors delivering stellar jobs. But like the movies, the game features a heavy 80s soundtrack that is littered throughout the game, and you can also listen to the game's 40-odd track list on board the Milano, which is great. The soundtrack ranges from Blondie, Wham, Pat Benatar, Billy Idol, Culture Club, and much, much more. If you love 80s music, then you'll be in your element here. It's easily one of the best soundtracks in a game I've heard for a very long while. Conclusion time now, and Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy has literally come out of nowhere to be one of the best games of 2021. It delivers a brilliantly and sharply written story that fleshes out all the members of the Guardians that fans of the films and comics will love. Its combat is fast and snappy and quite strategic, the exploration is a joy, and moments between are great bits of character building. It's a lengthy adventure too, and features a rockin' 80s soundtrack, and there's plenty of potential here for a bigger and better sequel. So with that, I'm giving Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy an 8.5 out of 10 with a title of great. As always, thank you for watching my review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you could like and subscribe, that would be totally awesome. And as always, till next time, thanks for watching. Bye.